You can never have too much volleyball. And this weekend on Big Ten Plus, we're going to show you exactly why. It's the first of 3 games.
For Princeton, they're coming off a sweep of Coppin State last weekend, that is, and are looking.
Starting lineups getting announced for the Nittany Lions. And you look at, of course, some of the heavy hitters for them. Kenny, no better way to spend a Friday night than some volleyball here on Big Ten Plus. Once again, so glad that you're joining us here on a wonderful evening in Happy Valley. Addie Lyon, the starting setter for the Nittany Lions, will send things away. Let's rock and roll from rec call, and it'll start with a service error. Princeton goes up 1-0.
That was something that really hindered Penn State's play against Pitt, was the service error. So we'll see if they can clean it up here. Not a great start, though.
Yeah, something that Katie Schumacher-Colley emphasized a lot was the need to reduce some of those silly mistakes. As Sydney Bold, the starting libero, gets an ace on her first serve, so hot start for the Tigers.
Yeah, great start for the Tigers. Not an ideal start for Penn State. Service error, and then an error on serve receive to start off, and it's 2-0 Princeton.
And that was one of the trends in their losses in Pittsburgh against Arizona State and TCU, was the serve receive game for the Nittany Lions. That one is touched cleanly by Alexis Ewing. And at the middle, Emmy Selman gets on the board for the Nittany Lions.
Something we've heard opposing coaches say all the time is the number of hitters that Penn State has, and we saw it there. Emmy Selman out of the back row getting the first kill.
There's so much raw talent on this Nittany Lions squad. Emmy Selman, the former Ohio State Buckeye and 2024 Big Ten All-Freshman. Comes Taylor Clark. Did she get it down? No, she did not. Tried to go cross court. Can't put it down. Penn State ties it early.
Yeah, kind of split the block right there on that hit and goes wide to the left side for a Penn State point.
Taylor Clark, the freshman out of Plano, Texas. And Ava Faldudo just sends it long, so Princeton jumps back out in front in the serve game being a point early on.
Yeah, and that one a lot closer than the previous serve from Addie Lyon. Just caught the outside, or else it would have been an ace.
Checking in is another freshman for Princeton, Olivia Foy, 5'8" DS out of Huntington Beach, California. Tough receive. Lyon sends a free ball, joust at the net. Pushed down by Maggie Mendelson and Kennedy Martin. And Maggie Mendelson, the second-year Nittany Lion, former Nebraska Cornhusker, had a tremendous outing against Pittsburgh on Wednesday.
Yeah, team high 8 blocks. We see the block there again from Mendelson and Martin. Great awareness by the two to see that ball was going over and go for the joust.
Yeah, Martin 6'6", Mendelson 6'5", helps with those net jousts. Valerie Nudicor gets to the back row. Dig from Grimes. Martin one-on-one with Bold. Kept in play. Free ball from Draper. Line on the back set to Kennedy Martin, and good luck stopping that one. Kennedy Martin already looking in tip-top form.
Yeah, when the block quite isn't there for the opposition, Kennedy Martin will succeed, and we see it here. Late second blocker, and she gets that one down.
Tough play on the serve. Grimes pushes it forward. Selman goes cross court on the overpass, and they'll let it drop. And Emmy Selman gets kill number 2 on swing number 2.
Good sign early for Penn State. Addie Lyon finding both of the big hitters so far in Selman and Martin. Don't want to stay one-dimensional throughout the match.
It's really a 1 point at a time. You can see Addie Lyon get more confident and more composed with this Penn State team as Nudicor gets it down in play. The starting outside hitter, the senior, who had 6 kills against Penn State last year when these two teams played in a similar invitational style tournament back on September 14th, so almost a year to the day since these two squads have faced off. A violation at the net brings it point Penn State.
Yeah, back-to-back violations for the teams. Still trying to get into the swing of things here early as Penn State out to a 2-point lead.
Penn State just played back on Wednesday. Princeton hasn't played since Saturday when they swept Coppin State. Martin with a tough serve. Here comes Scalamandre sent back. Play at the net. Contact at the net, and it'll go the way of Jordan Hopp. who immediately looked for a touch and got it. Penn State goes up 7-4.
That's a play you won't see too often. Surprised there wasn't any other call other than just a touch off the net, and Jordan Hopp gets the kill.
Puts Martin behind the line. 8 aces on 2025. Almost made it 9. Foy with the free ball. Lions center dump. And that just shows off the confidence that Addie Lyons has each game she steps out on the court for Penn State.
Yeah, initially wasn't sure how much you'd see this from Lyon, standing at just 5'9", but gets it down quick on that one.
Was a very seasoned veteran as well. Grad student, former St. Louis Billiken, also Missouri Tiger. Martin again plays with the net tape. And a big swing from Aaron McNair, one of the co-captains for this Princeton unit. Cuts the lead to 3.
That ends a 3-0 run from Penn State and gets Princeton back behind the service line.
Yeah, but the Nittany Lions are hitting .857 to Princeton's -167 early on in the first points of set 1. Off the slide, Jordan Hopp gets it down.
Yeah, that percentage will go up once again, and to Princeton's now 0 hitting percentage. A big difference in percentages early on, and kind of the story of the early set 1.
And just Jordan Hopp doing a much better job this season of working on the slide, one of the great traits of a good middle blocker, and Jordan Hopp definitely is one. Nudicor out of the back row, dug up by Jillian Grimes. And Selman goes the other way and gets it out of the back row. So Penn State the first to double digits in set 1.
When you can have a hitter come out of the back row like Emmy Selman can, it makes the offense that much more dynamic.
Penn State, a lot of net play early on. Big swing from Aaron McNair and got it down through the block.
I expect to see some big-time swings from these Princeton hitters. They don't see this size on the opposition that often, and big swing like that can fight off that size.
Put Sydney Draper, the starting setter, to serve for the Tigers. A sinking serve. Here comes a swing from Ewing. Got it off the hands. Back sets for Clark. Play at the net, and she just pushes it through. Alexis Ewing was coming down. Taylor Clark was coming up, and she gets the kill.
That's pretty much the story of how it happened. That Ewing going down, Clark going up, and was able to drop it on the side of Penn State.
And more often than not, it's whoever's at a higher elevation wins the play at the net. Good dig from Hopp and Grimes. Ewing backs up, was looking for a touch, and won't get it. So Princeton cuts the lead to 2.
And now that's a 3-0 run from Princeton, who slowly getting themselves back into this match after going down 10-5 early on.
Yeah, they're not going down quietly, especially early on in the contest. We're still in set 1 here from Rec Hall. Martin out of the back row and going one-on-one with Shelby Burris. Kenny Martin's winning that one 9 times out of 10.
If you thought Emmy Selman out of the back row was dominant, Kennedy Martin is...
I mean, good luck.
Yeah, it's not fair most of the time against Kennedy Martin. You see it again there.
And Jordan Hopp again, great serve out of the back row. Lyon over to Alexis Ewing. And the power on number 27 in blue and white. And the Nittany Lions back up 4.
I want to go back to the initial play there. Emmy Selman very vocal, calling it out, and no miscommunication on that one.
Already early on, just her first few games in the Nittany Lions, Selman very vocal on the court. Lyon straight up for Ewing, looking for the touch, and won't get it.
Sometimes when you jump that high, you're not going to get that type of touch. Going back to Selman, she actually earned a captain spot on the team after transferring in. So that just shows you the type of person she is and vocal leader that she can be.
Was second in the Big Ten among freshmen in kills per set last year in Columbus. And a big kill out of the back row from Kennedy Martin. And what I love about those Martin kills from the back row is that she's 6'6". She barely has to lift off the ground to do it.
Yeah, you'll see it. We'll probably see it later on as well in the front row, where she'll be just standing still and have her arms up and be able to perfectly reach over the net. So her height, a big factor.
Former Florida Gator, time All-American. Draper at the net for Nudicor. one-hand punch up by Selman. Ewing got it off the hot hands. Tracking it is Draper. Nudakor, and off the block is Andrew Deal and Jack Raczynski. But a point for Penn State nonetheless.
Yeah, you took that one from me.
Yeah.
Going right into my hands, and all of a sudden another touch on it.
I got the libero mindset. You always got to call for the ball. I don't want to back up. I remember last year when we were previewing or getting to cover the tournament games here, the head coach for Yale, as Maggie Mendelson gets a nasty kill, the head coach for Yale, Aaron Appleman, asked if I played for the team, for the men's team. I'm not a libero. I'm definitely not that. But Penn State is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Early on in set one, they're up 15-9, and we'll step aside here on Big Ten. Welcome back to Happy Valley. Jack Raczynski alongside Andrew Deal here on Big Ten Plus. Penn State up on the Princeton Tigers 15-9. Let's look at the series history between these two teams. Penn State leads it 9-2 all time, 4-0 in rec call, and the Princeton Tigers have not defeated the blue and white since 1977.
That's a long time ago. Just under 50 years ago was the last time Princeton won, and that 4-0 record in rec hall for Penn State kind of the same for most teams when they come to rec hall. It's tough to win here.
73-3 all time in postseason play is Penn State at rec hall, just to show what they can do in their house as Alexis Ewing gets that roof and extends the Nittany Lion advantage.
We talked about her height, how high she can jump for kills. There it is on a block, just sometimes unstoppable when she can get that high.
Ewing 6'4", as Emmy Selman gets an ace, another 6'4" player for the Nittany Lions. And the serving game coming up strong for the blue and white.
Yeah, it's now a 5-0 run for Penn State, and they're starting to fire on all cylinders.
They're still hitting .588. Princeton still triple zeros. Lion dropping serve underneath. It's Draper at the net. Nudakor sent back. And Ava Harrington, who checked into the game, sends it long. And that was an ace for Addie Lyon, just to correct that, but Penn State up 9.
That first attempt to get it over, Kennedy Martin reached over the net to send that one back.
Again, tough serve from Lyon. An ace number 2 for Addie Lyon. Really can do it all, and a timeout from head coach Sabrina King of Princeton.
Yeah, we'll see the serving more from Addie Lyon now that she's in the starting position. Came in early as the serving specialist, and now Penn State's 7-0 scoring run, up by 10.
Penn State up 10 early in this contest. We'll be right back from Rec Call on Big Ten Plus. Back to Rec Call, take a look at the coaches for both sides, starting with Sabrina King of Princeton, a former Princeton Tiger player, 1999 Ivy League Player of the Year, and a 3-time Ivy League Head Coach of the Year, a 212 and 110 record. All time on the side for Penn State, Katie Schumacher-Cawley, another former player, coaching for her team now, the first female head coach to win an NCAA championship at the Division I level in her 4th season with the Nittany Lions. And these two coaches have played on the other sides of the net before when Coach Katie Schumacher-Cawley was at UPenn before Penn State, so both have Ivy League experience. Addie Lyon continues her run from the serving spot. Harrington gets the kill, though. The middle blocker, junior at a third match, breaks the 7-0 scoring run.
That's big out of the timeout to end that scoring run and get back on track and try to pull somewhat back into this, still trailing by 9.
That's exactly what you want. It's really a failure if you don't get the point out of your own timeout. Lions straight ahead for Mendelson off the net. Harrington backs up. Selman's there. Here comes a swing from Ewing and pushes it too low. So back-to-back points for the Tigers, trying to stay alive in set 1.
That one looked to come off the hand a little weird from Ewing and sends it right into the net.
Puts the libero Sydney Bold, the California junior, sends it just long. Jillian Grimes wisely lets it go.
She looked like she was ready to play that one, and then last second pulls her arms back and looked a little close from our end, but It's rolled out, and Penn State now back serving.
Puts Faldudo behind the line, 4 aces on the season. Swing from Valerie Nudicor, touched back by Martin. Nudicor again, near side. Grimes underneath it. Selman opposite pin. Draper to Scalamandre, stays on the Princeton side. Nudicor with a tough angle. Lyon back sets for Kennedy Martin. Overpass way out of play. And there's the power of Kennedy Martin once more. Penn State back up to a double-digit lead.
Yeah, that one right there shows you just how hard Kennedy Martin hits it. Plays it off the defender and goes all the way back on the opposite side and out of bounds.
She's played in 7 games so far this season, has led the team in kills in 6 of them. There's a kill from Harrington. The Tigers had a block against Penn State last year when these two teams played in rec call. So it puts Foy back behind for Princeton. Take another look at the kill from Harrington, going one-on-one with Grimes through the block. Great placement from the 6'2 junior. And again, another service error for the black and orange.
That's something you can't really do if you're Princeton, especially at this point in the set, needing as many points as possible in a row, and giving it up on a service error is not what you need to do.
Both sides have 2 service errors to their name. Good dig from Faldudo. Martin trying to get it down and cannot. So Princeton tries to cut into the lead, but Penn State just 3 away from taking a 1-0 lead in the match.
Yeah, Martin tried to send that one down the line, just went out of bounds. Nice play by Faldudo on the dig to keep it up.
Martin has 4 kills on 6 attacks, and Jordan Hopp goes off speed. Penn State just 2 away from the set 1 victory.
She's now up to 4 kills herself, tying Martin for the lead.
And she's batting 1,000 as well. 4 kills on 4 attacks, no errors. Martin behind the line. Fast speed serve. Scalamandre punched up by Faldudo, but into the grandstands. And Lucia Scalamandre on her 4th swing gets her first kill, the All-Ivy 2nd teamer last year and the 2022 Ivy League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, 2-time first-team All-Ivy player as well. She's going to be someone that Princeton's going to have to go to more often if they want to keep themselves in this set.
Kill number 66 on the season for Scalamandre. That leads the Tigers. Lyon, forward set for Selman off the hot hands and gets it. Emmy Selman with her 4th kill, and that's 3 players with 4 kills for Penn State. Brings up set point for the Nittany Lions. Now Selman goes back to serve.
She's hitting 800 on the first set as well, so very efficient hitting here from all the hitters.
The entire team hitting 458. Foy gets in front of it. Draper over to McNair for the kill. So Princeton stays alive for now off the side out. And Harrington comes back in for Foy.
McNair has been big in this set, hitting 600 on 3 kills.
She's one that Coach Sabrina King said really flew under the radar for Princeton, but has been a big impact player for the Tigers. Selman from the midpoint, shoved forward by Nudicor. Here comes McNair. And that one goes out of play. Sabrina King wants a touch, won't get it, and Penn State takes a dominating 25-15 set victory.